Now, the one thing that everyone was curious about, at least anyone that's paying attention to the sport and riveted by the story of the offseason and aware of the fact that the Chargers like to be a little cheeky and make reference to things that are not easy to make reference to without potentially pissing someone off. Sorry, London. I got a call because I had been talking about whether or not they were going to do it. Originally, my source there said they weren't. Then the Inside the NBA crew went there with a Titanic homage after the Celtics were eliminated from the playoffs. And I sent that clip to my contact, and he never got back to me. Well, he got back to me yesterday, and it was a couple of hours before the schedule dropped. And I think the way it was explained is, there's a line there that we're not going to cross, but there's some stuff there that's fair game.
Right.
That isn't commenting on the affair, isn't embarrassing anyone. There's no images in the video of either of them. But to the trained eye, to anybody who's been paying attention to this thing, there are going to be references, and there are 3. That's not one. That's not one. That's a reference. See, some people got it wrong.
Yeah.
This is, and I don't mind. I don't mind this being up here.
Well, explain it. Right. So it says nothing to see
that's
here.
Not
Press
one of the
X
references.
to skip this checkpoint.
Right.
Reference code
Here's
16.3.
why. They were making fun. They were making fun of the Patriots cupcake schedule. This was something, and I guess in the Halo game, there's a point where you get on motorcycles and you race.
You
and
can.
They called it. Yeah. They used cupcake, right? They because they're making fun of their schedule, and when they got to the Chargers facing the Patriots in the playoffs, nothing to see here. 16-3 was the final score of the game. It's a self-deprecating reference to the fact that they're making fun of the Patriots for not playing anyone last year, and along the way, the Patriots thumped the Chargers. Nothing to see here.
Right.
That's what that is.
Yeah, that's good.
It's not a reference to the Vrabel situation. The 3 references are this, and I don't know if you have any others, Gary, that are going to end up not being references, but that's one. Next photo dump 1 mile. That's the first one.
That's pretty good.
That shows up.
Yeah,
and then
I saw that.
The second one, while you're watching it, it slides in
on
the lower right
bottom
corner of the screen.
Right.
New York Post sent you a message. That's the second reference. And then the third one is in the credits. And in the credits, it scrolls through some icons, and there's one that mentions Operation Playlist. And that's the one that is the closest to...
the line.
Because the playlist thing was like... That's something that only those who have been following this thing the most closely are going to be aware of. And it's such a weird little unconfirmed thing that... And here's the quick background on it. Someone found a public Spotify playlist that Diana Russini had shared with someone named Mike, and that was December 18 of 2022, the day after the Titans, Mike Vrabel's team at the time, had lost 4 games in a row. And I guess the idea was this is to cheer you up,
to make you feel better.
Team through.
Yeah, right.
And there were some interesting choices on the
was there?
on the playlist.
I don't think I looked at it real closely.
Including the Kiss song "God of Thunder,"
wow.
which, as a recovering Kiss fan for 50 years, I eventually got to the point where I had enough. I never liked that song. I hated that song. So, of all the Kiss songs that could have been selected, "God of Thunder" is just kind of an odd choice. But anyway, Operation Playlist, when the screen is scrolling. It's during the closing credits, and you see the icons, and they click on some of them, not all of them, and they click on Operation Playlist, and it expands, and there it is. Unable to locate file 12/18/2022. That's a reference to the date that it was posted and the fact that it was deleted.
Gotcha.
It was deleted.
Okay.
Launch error 17... Hang on. Launch error 1714 is a reference to the fact that the 4th straight loss by the Titans the day before was at the hands of the Chargers to the score of 17-14. That's what that's a reference to. Now, the stuff in the background, I don't know it's reference to songs there. I'm not nearly hip enough to understand what because I have a feeling those 4 squares mean something as it relates to the songs on the playlist. But that's reference number 3. And there's only 3. I've had people saying, how about this one? How about this one? I've confirmed that as intended, there may be an accidental one, an unintended one, but the Chargers intended 3, and those were the 3 that were in there.
They did it tastefully. They didn't cross the line, and I think from that standpoint right there, that's fair game. Definitely is. It is. It's like we talked about. It's gone past the biggest story in the sport. I mean, other than political news, it was the biggest story in the country for 3 weeks. So it's too low hanging fruit for everybody to avoid. So I'm glad that the Chargers kind of danced with a little danger. Danger's my middle name. Now, you never played Halo before? You never did that growing up? Or not growing up, but 10 years ago, you never got into Halo at all?
I don't like the first-person shooter games. I remember when Halo came out, I thought, this looks pretty cool. This looks pretty interesting. And my nephew had it, and I started playing it, and it's like, I don't like this. And since then, whether it's Fortnite or any of the other adventure-style first-person shooter games, Call of Duty, it's just not my bag. I don't enjoy that whole walking around with a gun trying to kill before you get killed.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I'll play Madden. I started playing FIFA again since the World Cup's coming up. So
I hear you. Yeah.
Madden and FIFA. I like playing the sports games. The other stuff, it's not my thing.
That was a game that we got into big. It came out during college, right? There was a game kind of like it before. You remember, like the James Bond game on Nintendo 64 or whatever, right? Right.
I loved that.
Right.
That was awesome.
That was kind of the start of that whole genre of, you have a gun in front of you and you go around. Halo was like that. It was a little more advanced. It was. But that was like the thing I did in college. At the end there, that's what we did on Wednesday night, right? We'd practice hard. We'd go to the dining hall, eat dinner there. And then it was like, whose apartment, whose room are we going to go back to and all play Halo? And so, we had our names. I was Simsation. Shanahan was Shanomite, which you might like. That was his name on Halo. Shanomite. He'd kill somebody, he'd go, Shanomite, right? So that was always great. But then I got into the NFL, and it even went to another level to where, like, in the offseason sometimes, I'd go to a friend's house. Hey, we had our OTAs. We're done at 3:30, 4 in the afternoon. Whose house are we going to go to and play Halo? And we'd get 8 of us, maybe 12 of us, and be in different rooms where, 4 of us would be in one room, 4 would be in the other room, and we'd be having these battles. It was a lot of fun for a long time, but I was surprised they went with Halo as my point because, it's not as popular anymore, and it was, of course, in its prime about 10, 15, 20 years ago, so that's where I was surprised with the Chargers going that way.
Second straight year, too, that they worked out some sort of a deal with Microsoft to license their
you're right. Yeah.
Intellectual property. Last year it was Minecraft, and this year it was Halo. But, it's hard to keep coming up with fresh ideas. And I suspect at this point they have meetings and they discuss it, and people are upset, and they have to work through all the various organizational dynamics. And the problem is the more people you have involved, the more likely it is that things get homogenized. At a certain point, you just got to let people go do their thing and be creative and come up with great ideas and come up with funny references. And they did have funny references we showed in the opening montage of the various videos. They poked a little fun at Bo Nix with the ankle injury that ended his season in the playoffs. And there's, there was a reference to altitude, like another altitude reminder, like, that's
I saw that.
Denver's
Yeah.
thing. They want to have
another
50, 280
altitude
everywhere.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
So there is within the confines of a specific genre of video games that I have no interest in, just like I had no interest in the Minecraft stuff last year. There was something there worth watching because there was some stuff that was entertaining. Sometimes you just want to sit back and not have to think. With the Chargers, you have to think too much. With the Titans, you didn't have to think at all. With the Titans, it was just glorious. We need to play the whole thing. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.